Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding, I want to buy an airport. Most people would laugh. They would imagine a price tag so massive that only governments and billionaires could afford it. And sometimes they would be right. London Heathrow, one of the world's busiest airports, was valued at billions of pounds. Dubai International, Singapore Changi, and other global giants have cost fortunes to build and operate. But here is the surprising truth. Not every airport costs billions. Some airports cost less than a luxury hotel in a major city. The real question is not, how much does an airport cost? The real question is, how much money can an airport actually make? Because an airport is not just a place where planes land. It is one of the most powerful businesses on Earth. A business built around one simple idea: control the place where millions of people must pass through. In England, a small regional airport in Gloucestershire was once placed on the market. The asking price started around £25 million. Within a short period, a buyer stepped forward and acquired something most people never imagined owning: a runway, terminal, and the license to operate an airport. Not a model, not a concept, a real airport. But America has an even more interesting market. Across states like Texas, Florida, and Montana, private airfields exist where wealthy individuals can purchase their own piece of aviation. Some small airports can be bought for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, these are not Heathrow. They do not handle millions of passengers. They do not have international airlines arriving every few minutes. They are mostly used by private aircraft. But they reveal something important. An airport does not always start as a billion-dollar empire. Sometimes it starts with a piece of land, a runway, and a vision. But if you want to understand where the real money is, look at what investment giants are doing. Companies, private equity firms, and sovereign wealth funds have spent billions buying stakes in major airports around the world. Why? Because airports have something almost every business dreams about: a monopoly, a customer base that cannot easily walk away. London has many airports, but Heathrow is Heathrow. If you need to fly from that location, thousands of passengers pass through the same doors every day. And behind those doors is where the real business begins. Most people think airports make money from airplanes. And yes, they do. But that is only the beginning. An airport has multiple income streams. The first comes from aviation itself. Airlines pay airports for landing rights, parking aircraft, using gates, passenger facilities, and every passenger pays a fee included in their ticket. Worldwide, airports generate tens of billions of dollars every year from these aviation charges. Sounds impressive, but here is the shocking part. For many airports, this money alone is not enough. The biggest profits come from somewhere else. The people inside the airport. Think about it. An airport is basically a shopping mall where customers cannot leave. They arrive early. They have time. They have money. And they are surrounded by shops. This creates one of the most valuable audiences in retail. Captive audience. That is why airports make huge amounts of money from luxury stores, restaurants, advertising, car rentals, hotels, and retail spaces. The airport owner usually does not sell products themselves. Instead, they rent space to companies. And the deal is often extremely profitable. A fixed monthly payment, plus a percentage of the sales made inside the terminal. In 2024, one major airport operator launched a massive duty-free retail opportunity covering dozens of airports. The expected sales value? Billions of euros. All from selling products passengers buy while waiting for their flights. Perfume, electronics, luxury goods, food, and souvenirs. Then there is another giant money machine: parking. Every airport has thousands of vehicles sitting nearby, and those spaces are valuable. A passenger parking for 1 week may pay hundreds of dollars. Multiply that by thousands of cars every day, and parking becomes a business by itself. But airports have even stranger ways of making money. Those luggage carts you see everywhere? Many airports do not pay for them. Sometimes the companies operating them actually pay the airport for access. Ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft also pay airports fees every time they collect passengers. One airport can generate millions simply by allowing cars to pick people up. But building an airport is only half the story. The other half is surviving the cost of running one. Because airports are expensive machines. A major airport operates almost like a small city. It needs security, engineers, maintenance crews, emergency services, electricity, technology, and thousands of employees. A large international airport can spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year just keeping the lights on. Energy alone can be enormous. Some airports consume as much electricity as entire towns. And the biggest problem? You cannot simply shut down when business slows. A shopping mall can close sections. A hotel can reduce rooms. But an airport must remain ready. The runway must operate. Security must continue. Air traffic systems must stay active. Even when fewer passengers arrive. COVID-19 showed the world how brutal this business can be. Passenger numbers collapsed. Airports lost billions. But the costs remained. The airport still needed staff, still needed maintenance, still needed security. A nearly empty terminal could still cost millions to operate. However, the smartest airport owners understand something most people miss. The airport is not only a transportation business. It is a real estate business, a retail business, an advertising business, and sometimes, a completely unexpected entertainment business. Take Las Vegas. Millions of people fly there every year to gamble. The airport owners asked a simple question. If passengers are already here waiting for their flights, why should they wait until they reach the casino? So they brought the casino experience directly into the airport. Today, thousands of slot machines operate inside Harry Reid International Airport. The airport earns money simply because it owns the space. Then there is another extremely valuable asset. Airport slots. A slot is basically permission for an airline to land and take off at a specific time. At the world's busiest airports, these time windows are incredibly valuable. Why? Because there are only so many planes an airport can handle. The demand is higher than the available space. And when something is limited, it becomes expensive. At airports like Heathrow, airlines have paid tens of millions of dollars for valuable slot positions. The airport itself may not directly receive that money, but it proves something important. People are desperate to access that airport, and that gives airport owners powerful negotiating ability. So after understanding everything, how much money can an airport actually make? Let's look at 3 examples. Small regional airport. A small airport serving around 100,000 passengers yearly might cost between $30 million and $50 million. Revenue may reach around $10 million, but operating expenses can consume almost everything. Profit? Sometimes zero, sometimes even a loss. These airports are usually bought for future potential. The land, the development opportunities, the possibility that the surrounding city grows. Medium International Airport. Now imagine an airport serving around 30 million passengers every year. This is a completely different business. Revenue can reach billions. After salaries, maintenance, energy, and upgrades, annual profit could reach hundreds of millions of dollars. Global Mega Airport. Now consider an airport handling more than 80 million passengers annually. Revenue can climb toward $5 billion. After expenses, a well-managed airport could generate hundreds of millions, even approaching $1 billion in yearly profit. And that is why some of the world's richest investment groups want airport ownership. Not because they love airplanes, not because they want to control flights, but because they understand one powerful truth. Airlines compete. They can fail. They can merge. They can disappear. But an airport, a major airport, owns the doorway. Millions of people must pass through it. And every person who enters represents another opportunity to make money. Because in the world of business, sometimes the most valuable thing is not what you sell. It is owning the place where everyone must come. And that is why airports are not just buildings with runways. They are billion-dollar machines built around human movement.